Hey guys, so I have to admit I have slacked a bit with my bullet journal and I may or may not have skipped all of February, but I was on top of things for March and got ahead of the game and filmed this March setup for you so you can see the pages I did for my monthly layout as well as a weekly spread. So hopefully you get some ideas or inspiration from this, but before I get into the video, I have a very exciting announcement to make. So I just launched my Patreon. If you've never heard of Patreon, it's basically a website that allows you to support the creators that you love through a monthly subscription. And this just allows the creator to keep doing everything they're doing and creating their art. And in return, you get some pretty cool things. I spent the longest time debating whether or not I actually wanted to start a Patreon, and I finally just decided to go for it. I am so excited for everything that I have planned so far for my Patreon. So some of the things that I want to do, I want to do a monthly live stream where I draw or paint or do something art related, so you can watch me draw and listen to me talk about it, maybe explain how I'm doing what I'm doing. And then I want to create a monthly free printable for you guys. I want to start an email newsletter just showing you like pictures of things I'm creating or behind the scenes or things like that. And I also want to make a once a month video of maybe a Q&A and then also showing you an in-depth like behind the scenes or process of whatever project I'm currently working on. If you're interested in checking out my Patreon, I will have a link down below and you can learn more about how it works and exactly what you need to do. But please know that whether or not you decide to support me on Patreon, I appreciate you so much just for being here and watching my videos and allowing me to share what I do with you. I'm just so happy having you here in this little community here on YouTube, and I hope you know how much I appreciate that. Okay, so now we'll get into my March setup. So like I said in the beginning, I have been slacking with my bullet journal, and I hate to say it, but I haven't used it since I created my 2018 bullet journal setup video. I just have been super busy and haven't had the time to sit down and write everything in my bullet journal. I've just been keeping it all digitally, but I'm not letting that set the tone for the year. I'm still just as motivated to do this bullet journal and keep up with it. So I'm just going to start fresh with March. So this first page that I decided to do is, I guess, a monthly spread, a monthly page. I'm not sure what it's called, but basically it's the first page of my March section. So at the top I wrote March, and then I created this little meditation tracker because I try to meditate daily, so I thought it would be helpful to keep track of when I meditate, and I'll just mark it off on that little calendar if I do. And then on the right side of the page, I added a blank piece of paper just so I can add any important dates or things to remember, goals, whatever. And then I decorated it a little bit. So these little tags are actually from tea bags, and I saved them just because I liked the quotes. So I was playing around with those and trying out different ideas for where to put them on the page. I also decided to add a little box with the dates for the full moon and the new moon. There's actually 2 full moons in March, which is pretty cool. But I just wrote that so I can remember that and add it in my weekly spreads. And then I just decided to add one of those little tea tags and save the other one for the next page. So when I began my weekly spread, I really had no idea how I wanted it to look. So I just jumped right in and figured it out along the way. I started out by doing these little to-do list boxes, and I kept them pretty small because I usually like to just set 3 main goals for each day just so I don't get overwhelmed by a big to-do list. We'll see if this works out. I might change it up in the future, but for this week, that's what I did. And then because the full moon was on March 1st, I wanted to do a little moon painting and write a little bit about it. So on a separate piece of paper, I just used my watercolors and did a really quick watercolor moon, and then I cut that out and I glued that into my journal. And then you can see I tore a little piece of paper to make like a little banner that said full moon in Virgo. And then I did some doodles next to that, just some little, I think these are lavender flowers and stars. You guys know my flower and star doodles that I do everywhere. And then right next to the moon, I did a little bit of writing just about the full moon, what it means, and how you can use the energies in your life. And then I decided to make a little playlist for the week. So I'm always listening to music. You guys are probably going to see a lot of playlists in this journal just because I'm always finding new music and I just love music so much. So I made a little playlist of some songs that I've been liking lately and glued that into my journal. And then I did another little doodle next to that. I saw this doodle either on Pinterest or Tumblr a long time ago, so I really liked it and I wanted to recreate it in my journal. I don't remember who the original artist is, but if you do know, let me know. And then I wrote a little quote actually from one of the songs I added to my playlist that says "Stardust around her eyes." And I just thought that went with it. I thought it was really pretty. As you saw, I wrote a little quote on a tag and glued that into my journal, and then I did another flower sketch and I added that last tea bag tag. And really I was just trying to fill up the space because I realized that I made my to-do list really small and I didn't know what else to add to this weekly spread, and I realized it's kind of not very functional, but I'll change it up in the future. And then here, so I am using some of my new stickers that I promise I will be putting them in my shop soon. I know I keep showing you guys these stickers. I just haven't been able to open my shop yet because I haven't been home for long enough. I keep like leaving for the weekend, or I just haven't been home for like more than a week and a half at a time. So hopefully by the end of March I will be home and not be traveling as much, and I will be opening my shop. And of course I'll let you guys know. I'll probably announce it on Instagram and on YouTube. Don't worry, you guys will find out. So yeah, this is my bullet journal setup for March. And like I said in the beginning, my Patreon will be linked down below if you're interested in that. Please don't feel any pressure at all to support me on Patreon. I promise that I love and appreciate you either way. So I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye guys.